upright, nice sitting position. And as usual, we start with the mudra. It's very simple. We're reuniting on both hands the thumb, the pinky, and the ring finger. See that you can very gently rock back and forth until you find your center line. And maybe if this feels right for you, close your eyes for the first moment of the class. The mudra that we're holding is in general for health. It's the prana mudra. So that we can stay for the next week probably in this mindset of health and activate prana in the body. We're still in an active wood element, so let all the prana circle through the center line and bring you in good alignment for healthful, wholesome growth. So that our flowing system can also always come into balance. So I invite you, while you're seated and holding the mudra, that you slowly start to open a room within yourself where you have a nice overview over what happened during the last days for you, and sense what you want to highlight or increase in your life. And maybe this awareness starts with making space by deeply inhaling, and with an exhale arriving fully in the body, sensing it. And try to stay and be open for if it's the breath that catches your attention, or if there's something else that catches your mind. And maybe it's something like a feeling, a word, or a symbol. And arrive in this. Bring life to it as you breathe. And usually we need a couple of moments until we can consciously arrive on the floor, feeling the floor beneath us, the earth beneath us. And maybe with this sense of grounding and arriving on the earth, we can feel that this opening of our inner room can deepen. And so we can really start our easy flow yoga class with this consciousness or mindset that we're working inside out. And maybe there's the body still telling you or giving you a signal what's really important for you during the class. So if this happens, be aware and respect that. And after having created this room for us, I invite you to really consciously draw the breath up into your chest. And really open yourself up that you are expanding with your breath from the inside out, from this inner room to the outside. And while we're doing this, consciously connecting our inside and the outside, let's be aware and curious about what moves within us. And we can still do this for 3 long deep breaths. so that we can feel when we're inhaling, we're opening this inner room, expanding. And with an exhale, we can arrive at the floor, maybe releasing something. And stay in this calm. So connect this calm with your breath. So as we move, this calm can stay with you. And with the next exhale, slowly release your mudra. Maybe moving your hands and your fingers. And slowly reuniting your hands in front of your heart. Waiting for the exhale to complete. Maybe as you inhale, you want to remind yourself of your sankalpa, whatever you found in the beginning of the class. And with an exhale, slowly come forward. Bow down to this flowing energy that enlivens and invigorates us. And we're reunited and sharing with each other, working on our own connection of inner to outer space. On our own topics. Maybe you want to find center, sense the floor again. Really take in this stable and calm element. Neck is released and then slowly draw navel to spine with an inhale. Slowly rise up from center. And with an exhale, come to a seated position. I invite you to sing an Om together, not due to any official reasons, but more to remind ourselves that we are connecting to our own foundation of being with our own purpose of origin. And that with this intonation of Om, we can reverberate our own Dharma in our body, in our bodies. So I'm going to sing the Om. You can listen or sing along. Very good. And then I want to invite you to slowly start moving, maybe to come onto your hands and knees. Very consciously set your hands so that you can find really the 5 rays of your hands, fingers on the floor, connected to the earth. Rolling back the shoulders, and let's start with marauding bear. Maybe with an inhale, come into this cat position, and with an exhale, come into this cow position, maybe bending the elbows, and then slowly start this huge circle as if you would be kneeling in a sphere and touching with all 4 quadrants of your torso the inner edges of this sphere, and really feel that you're working with your own breath, sensing it, sensing the movement, sensing the connection to the floor, letting go of the head. And really stay connected to this imaginary sphere, to the breath, to the floor, and to what you're sensing from center, the openings. And maybe you still want to sense this. So for 2 to 3 circles or breath cycles, you decide in your own time and rhythm. And really make sure that the head stays released. And if you return to top position, just change direction and see if the breath can stay or remain fluid. If the connection to the floor and the breath and the movement can remain stable. And whatever wants to tense up to be released again. And all the time checking if the jaw is released or if you're clenching your teeth. And just notice for yourself which rotation, the clockwise or the counterclockwise rotation or movement is easier for you. So, when we arrive again on top, maybe there is more dynamic coming into the body. And if we're here on top position with the rounded back, find center, this neutral position of the pelvis, anchor your shoulders, keep Uddiyana Bandha engaged. With an inhale, allow your feet to flex, and with an exhale, allow to come into downward dog. Bending the knees with an inhale and straightening them without losing this neutral position, the hip flexion as you're here, the neutral position of your pelvis in hip flexion. And see if your shoulders can stay anchored as you move, if you can feel the floor, if you can sense the breath, sense what you're doing. And if we're consciously tuning into handling in our awareness all these elements, it actually sounds easier than it is. So see if you can manage, inhale, bending the knees, feeling the floor, feeling the position of your body. And with an exhale, feel the connection to the floor through your feet, your hands, your breath, the position of your body. And sensing maybe tiny movements that you are doing in downward dog. And the head may really fully release. And then slowly with an inhale, come forward. Shoulders over hands. Exhale, feel again that you are engaging the backside of your legs by pushing the heels away. Find the shoulders anchored. Find that you're opening up the groin by engaging the legs and keeping the pelvis stable and able to spine. And really find that although this might feel a little strenuous, that we can consciously couple that it's a little bit exhausting and yet still feel our breath and a connection to the floor. And then slowly let's release that with an exhale as we're bending the knees, letting them descend onto the mat. Having the feet touch again, inhaling here. And with an exhale, bending the elbows and slowly come onto your belly. Release your hands on the floor, shake them loose, and let them come with an inhale. Elbows pointing to the outside in front of you. Your head may rest on your forearms or hands. And the head may really be released. I'm just holding it up so you can hear me talking. And if it's possible, the same as we used our consciousness and awareness of different elements while something was strenuous and demanded engagement, if we can stay present when we're relaxing. Allow your consciousness to descend into the floor and breathe. With an inhale, your body may press or push into the floor. With an exhale, you may release your whole body. And we're at 2. and 3. Awesome. And then again, connect yourself to your center. Feel that you're drawing with an exhale your navel away from the mat, the pelvis slightly tilting. From this stable pelvic position, lift your head with an inhale. With an exhale, bring your shoulders your fingers underneath your shoulders. Allow your elbows to draw back and down to really find this shoulder blade depression. And then slowly with an inhale, push with a straight spine up onto hands and knees. And flexing the feet with an exhale, push into downward dog, arriving here for the second time in this class. If you want to, go a little bit more dynamic so that you're bending the knees or swinging your heels from left to right while keeping the navel glued to the spine. Our heart space in front is really wide and open. If you can still feel the floor. And then slowly find that you're equally disposing your weight onto both feet and hands. And see if you can, with an inhale, push your feet back and your hands forward. And we're slowly coming forward into plank position. And with an exhale, we're letting the knees descend onto the mat. You can cross your shins or come over the side and come forward into a seated position. We can come a little bit forward on our mat. We'll go into our roll down, lifting both arms with an inhale. Exhale, allowing the shoulders to integrate, finding this stable rhomboid latissimus engagement. Inhaling, lifting the heart, and with an exhale, start the movement by tilting the pelvis as you roll back down onto your mat. Very good. And as you arrive here, I would like you to feel that you're swinging your pelvis so that it can swing from this cat-cow position into a neutral pelvis. And you will feel this if both hip points are directly pointing towards the ceiling, not away from your nose when you're in an anterior pelvic tilt, and also not towards your nose for a posterior pelvic tilt. And maybe with an in and exhale, allow your feet to just wander more away, a little bit further away from your pelvis. And if you arrived here, with an inhale, lift your arms, and with an exhale, allowing them to support your head so that the head can really drop into your hands and you feel your neck muscles release. The shoulders are still connected to your pelvis. From our stable pelvis and our core, we lift with an inhale our head with the upper shoulder girdle. And with an exhale, we're rotating the upper thoracic spine towards the right without moving the pelvis or shifting onto the right or left side of our pelvis. Come to center with an inhale, and with an exhale, we twist to the left. We come back to center with an inhale. And with an exhale, pelvis totally stable, ribs connected. We come to the right. We inhale, come to center. And with an exhale, we're coming to the left. Feel the shoulders firmly grounded. We're inhaling to center, exhaling to the right. No shifting of your weight throughout the pelvis. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. And stay well anchored into your pelvis or in your pelvis. Free up your arms, stretch them forward with an inhale. And with an exhale, feel that as you roll the shoulder back, you can pull your feet towards your heels or towards the heels of your pelvis. And we just keep and nourishing, so stay here and nourish this transformative fire in the lower belly. As we breathe, the head is completely free. for 2 and 3. Shoulders really nicely anchored. Slowly come back onto your mat. Bring one leg to your chest, let the other leg follow, and rest for a couple of breaths in Uttanasana. Your head may circle. Allow all of your neck and head to release into the floor as you breathe here. And see if you can stay in the connection, in this conscious connection to the floor and to your breath as you move. 1. After a strenuous exercise, again, some deliberate and conscious relaxation. 2. And 3. And then slowly allow your hands to come a little bit more forward towards your ankles or shins. Find again yourself at center, drawing the navel to the spine. So check your pelvis again. If you're in neutral, we're inhaling here, lifting our shoulder girdle and head from center. And with an exhale, the shoulders stay rolled back and anchored to the pelvis. And from our center, as we would do in Pilates, we're stretching our legs and arms away from center, and with an exhale, we're embracing our center again, supporting the neck throughout our rib cage, and expand with an inhale, and come into finding center with an exhale. We go into Vyana with an inhale, into Samana with an exhale, neck is free. We're doing this one more time with an inhale, and with an exhale, finding at center, knees are level. Last time, inhale, and exhale, now here. Inhale, maybe the legs can go longer, and exhale, we're at 6. We're going 2 more times, inhale, and exhale. So sorry for teasing you, there are more. Last one, inhale, and exhale. And then slowly allow the shoulders to roll back one more time in case they have hiked up. Release onto the floor and release the tension, breathing, sensing the floor, connection to your breath, the connection to the relaxation. See if it's possible to stay as present as you were before. Integrating. And then find at center again, navel to spine. Allow the feet to come up, the legs to straighten just a little bit. Gather momentum with an inhale. And with an exhale, come into boat pose. And then from here, step back into the downward dog. Arriving in our third downward dog or Ardha Uttanasana today. See that you've really built your foundation with the pelvis in neutral, the lower back nice and straight. Your heels of your pelvis, your sit bones pointing away from you towards the ceiling. Your connection to the floor, your breath, your movement, everything united. And then slowly we're arriving here again in a calm Ardha Uttanasana. Can now push our feet into the floor, come forward with an inhale into plank. Can exhale and always release our knees to the floor for the easier version. Or maybe you can push your feet into the floor, sending your body flying forward with an inhale. And with an exhale, bending the elbows and coming into Chaturanga. Shoulders are still rolled back, the upper shoulder girdle engaged, and we come into Cobra. As we hear from an inhale, rising from the center up, pelvis still glued to the floor. And maybe you're deeper, that's fine too. I really want you to feel this anchoring to the earth. And with an exhale, we see if we can support ourselves in the cobra with our navel to spine connection or Uddiyana Bandha. And then wait for the next exhale and slowly allow your gaze and your head to turn over your left shoulder. See if you can stay totally calm and connected at the base. We inhale looking forward. And with an exhale, we're turning our head to the right and see if our left shoulder, especially here, can really stay solidly anchored and not moving at all. With the next exhale, come forward again. We can maybe just extend our spinal extension or lumbar extension here with an inhale. Feel free to adopt to whatever level your lumbar spine needs today. And then with an exhale, we're slowly rolling back down, keeping the head released, keeping the shoulders connected to the pelvis as we come back down onto the floor, releasing this pose and also this exercise connected to it for our social engagement system. Really feel that you're releasing all of your body into the floor. I'm still keeping my head lifted so you hear me better. And sense that when you're breathing, it's really all of your belly, also the sides of your belly that can push into the floor and release the tissue of the lower back. And with an exhale, feel this natural release happening, the sinking of the pubic bone into the floor. And maybe you want to also use your voice for this work. And then, as nothing would have happened, still very present and released. Again, find yourself at center, observe what's changing in your lumbar spine, what's happening in your pelvis with your tailbone. Release your arms, keeping navel to spine. Finding your tailbone really glued to your heels. Slowly push up with a straight back onto hands and knees with an inhale. And with an exhale into the fourth repetition of our downward dog, and find that you can really move freely here once you have established this strong connections, built layer upon layer, lifting maybe your legs, maybe shifting from side to side, walking in place, pivoting on your toes, and reuniting awareness of movement, breath, connection to floor. And then when the movement ceases and you're looking at your feet, see if you can really have the outer edges of your feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. And see that, or check if we're pushing the hands on the mat forward, that we can really extend or expand the space at the groin in front. And I want you to stay in this connection and also this feeling of deepening in the groin as you slowly, with a fluid breath, walk your hands towards your toes. And once you're here, maybe you work with fingertips on the floor, maybe you work with palms on your shins. Lift yourself up with an inhale into Ardha Uttanasana. With an exhale, expand the arms to the side. With an inhale, reunite your hands behind your back, interlacing the fingers. Exhale, shoulders roll back, elbows can bend. Allow the neck to be released and really feel yourself as you're pulling your hands away from your heart, that you can pull yourself up into a standing position. And with an exhale, feel that your hands can completely release and also draw your shoulders into this nice shoulder depression, which means away from your ears, integrated. And we can really find that we're using our feet to lift the heart and aid with this movement of elongation of the spine, neutral pelvis. We're standing here, pulling our hands away and breathing for 2. And then with the next exhale, bending the knees, keeping the hands, and come forward again into a forward bend. Inhale here with torso parallel to the floor, navel to spine. And then slowly with an exhale, allow your feet to pivot on your heels. So you're coming into an outer or outer rotation. And see if you can come with Prasarita C arms into a squat. Stay present and see if if your heels can still touch the floor, if you need to lift them. We want this lift in our heart. And then with an exhale, release the hands, bring the hands forward. And we are inhaling and slowly pushing ourselves up. And with an exhale, we are releasing into downward dog. And maybe you want to remind yourself of this elevation of the heart, also here in downward dog, this long line between your sternum and your navel. As you move, breathe and feel the floor. We're still finding an active center, navel glute, spine. And arrive with conscious awareness at center. From here, slowly find calm, feet parallel, and then allow with an inhale that the right leg may ascend, the hips may open, and with an exhale, bending the knee, drawing it to your chest, pushing the left foot actively into the floor. Slowly flow back one more time. Feel free to open the right hip. Inhale, sit bones drawing together. And with an exhale, knee to chest, shoulders over wrists, come forward, active navel. And then on the end of the exhale, step forward, lift up with an inhale, full body engagement. And with an exhale, allow the left heel to drop. Slowly rise up with an inhale, both arms overhead. And with an exhale, slowly pushing the palms of your hands towards the ceiling, shoulders grounded. Inhale, we go into figure eights, fingers come to the outside. And with an exhale, fingers pointing forward. And with an inhale, drawing your hands slowly over the sides of your ribs, your torso to the back, wide collarbones, ribs closed. Exhale, allowing the shoulders to come in an inner rotation. Inhale, and with an exhale, push the arms forward. Really make sure that you're still keeping the ribs and the wide collarbones. With an inhale, come back up. And with an exhale, allow that the palms can again point towards each other on top. You're straightening the front right leg. Inhale, and with an exhale, we're bending the left knee of the back, coming into Skandasana. And we can again flow here, pushing the left foot into the floor as we inhale. And then with an exhale, bending the right knee, and the left foot can stay glued to the mat, or the toes may point up to the ceiling. It's really your choice. Shoulders stay anchored. Navel to spine, inhale over Prasarita legs, and with an exhale, sink back into Skandasana. Maybe you want to take your hands away from the floor as you flow here in Skandasana with an exhale, bending the right and left knee respectively. And switching again on left knee bends. I'm not mirroring you here, so you might face the other direction, but listen to my voice. So we're pushing forward with an inhale, coming over our right leg again into Vira. And with an exhale, the left heel draws up to the ceiling, and we're releasing our right leg and coming into downward dog. Allow that the right leg may rise again with an inhale, open hip. Ribs are closed, navel to spine. Exhale and really find this extension, this opening of the left hamstrings. Inhale here. And with an exhale, come forward again with right knee to chest. shoulders over wrists, and allow your right foot to step with an exhale on your right side. Engage your ankle so you're not collapsing, pushing actively the outer edge of your right foot into the floor away from you, active adductors, and with an exhale, pushing the hands into the floor. Maybe you're bending your right knee, and you can again feel that you're drawing the knee back to the midline and reunite the left knee to the right. Inhale here, and with an exhale, come into child's pose. Feel the neck release, the soft breath wave. Find a placement for your hands so you can stay connected to the floor, to your breath, whatever aids you with being present. And that you can really remain here with your focus and your energy, anchored to the present moment, connected to the floor and to your breath. 1. Soft movement, soft neck. 2. And no matter if we're focused and working hard or relaxing, our level of consciousness and presence remains the same. We're present. With an inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists. And with an exhale, allow yourself to return onto hands and knees. You can always pad your knees if you need to. The shoulders are again grounded over the sides of your torso, your back towards your hips. We're rolling back up, pushing our hips forward with an inhale, coming into a kneeling position. And with an exhale, the shoulders can roll back and stay anchored again. With an inhale, find that you're reaching forward, maybe even offering something. And with an exhale, you can push also something away, move something, walk through a door, curtain. And coming back into the Prasarita sea arms as we did before, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart. We're inhaling here. And with an exhaling, we're not focusing so much on going back, but lifting the heart and seeing how far we can find this extension in front. The hips are really pushing forward and opening in front. The lumbar curve is long and natural, not collapsing. And we're breathing with a free neck, a free head into our collarbones, filling up the top of our lungs. We're at 2. And using the floor and the connection there, we're giving an impulse, pushing into the floor as we rise with an inhale. And with an exhale, we can free up our arms, return them in front of us. Find the release for the lower back by really pushing your sit bones over your toes imaginatively. And finding again a soft spinal wave as you inhale and exhale. And maybe you want to add a shifting from side to side here. And then I invite you to center yourself, finding navel to spine. Allow the head to be released, coming with an inhale onto hands and knees, and with an exhale into downward dog. See if it's possible to push your hands forward, your feet back, deepening the downward dog with every repetition and finding freedom at the same time. Working with the elements of grounding and presence, awareness of your body and space and your breath. Stay fluid. And then let the movement organically cease. We're coming again calmly at center and preparing for the other side. So with an inhale, allow the right leg to take the weight, the left leg to ascend. With an exhale, you feel free probably to open the hip and the shoulders stay squared, so we really can work the length of the psoas on the left. We're inhaling here, can feel that we're pushing our leg up, extending the backside of the knee before we go into the samana action of drawing to center and bringing our left knee to the chest. Finding this focus, we can go into expansion again, pushing back with an inhale into Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward dog here. And then with an exhale, we can again draw the left knee towards our chest, finding the soft rounding of the spine and stepping forward. As you arrive here, allow your fingertips on the floor, this lifting up action with an inhale, and with an exhale, the right heel may drop. We're grounding the outer edge of the right foot and soar up into Veerabhadrasana 1, the first warrior. We're inhaling here with arms overhead, and with an exhale, shoulders stay grounded to the pelvis. So we really want to find all the direction of movement through the shoulders with having them connected to the pelvis. With an exhale, our palms face the ceiling. We find center line is drawn into the body as we, with an inhale, circle the arms, fingertips coming to the back and over the side forward. Exhaling here, finding center and shoulders connected to pelvis. Inhaling, drawing our arms to the back, elbows pushing back. And with an exhale, find this inward rotation of the shoulders as your elbows draw out, your fingertips towards the waistline. Inhale here, and with an exhale, push the arms back and find this wide collarbone space with integrated ribs. With an inhale, allow the arms to rise again. And with an exhale, allow that the palms may turn again in a fashion that they're facing each other, as if you would hold an imaginary ball overhead. We're inhaling here. So we're really trying to stay present at a boundary. And with an exhale, we can slowly straighten the left leg and rise, fingertips onto the floor. Our center still supporting us into right knee bend into Skandasana. So it's like a soft retreat to gather energy. So find that your navel is still there, online. And then with an inhale, straightening the back or bend right leg. And over Prasarita stance, sail into Skandasana onto the other side. And as I mentioned before, your right foot can turn up with toes pointing to ceiling or stay onto the mat. Listen to your knees and your ankles. Inhale over Prasarita. Exhale, we're descending with right knee bend, left leg straight again. We're inhaling here. Straight back as you transition, and with an exhale, left knee bend, right foot turning up towards the ceiling. You can have your hands on the floor, your shoulders glued to your pelvis or the sides of your torso all the time. Or feel free also to release the arms as we did before. So we're working more from center. And then slowly walk forward with an inhale. Left knee over left ankle. Exhale, find again that you're setting your hands, anchoring your shoulders. Can slowly free up your left leg, drawing it back as with an inhale. The left leg may rise towards the ceiling. With an exhale, finding this opening of the left hip here again. Inhale, and with an exhale, drawing the left knee to the chest. And we're stepping through with the left foot onto our right side for an IT band activation and stretch of the tensor fascia lata. Feel that you're keeping the ankle in neutral, activating the inside of your right foot. Maybe the knee bends as with an exhale you draw it back towards the mat and allow it to set down or settle in beneath your hip. Bring the right leg to it and release the pose. In child's pose, after all this movement, find calm and peace again, which means coming back to your center, feeling the support of the earth. Remind yourself of bringing prana through your breath into your sankalpa. working from the inside out. The awareness that we train through our yoga practice is the capacity of our neural themes and connections that are prevalent throughout our lives, and also color or cloud our vision or interpretation of reality. So by having trained this capacity, we have more capacity in our daily lives. And this is where deep pattern can change and we can become aware of them. So stay with prana, the awareness of the support of the floor, your breath. It's all about the sensing and the emptiness of holding space for awareness. So come back to center. If you've lost it, find navel to spine. And then slowly head released, come back up onto hands and knees. And with an exhale, push into the beloved downward dog. And we're still moving for 3 long deep breaths. Really find the shoulders grounded. Feel that you're not squeezing the shoulder blades together, but there's an engagement and still space between them. Really nice lower back. Always work with emptying out the pelvis to the best of your abilities. Really watching if the knees need to be bent. And with an inhale, lifting the right leg again. With an exhale, stepping forward. See if you have a belt, if you need it, somewhere close to you. And with an exhale, find the left knee descending onto the mat. The left foot may really release onto the floor. The hand is underneath your left shoulder. And really take your time for this movement, especially if you're doing it the first time, so you're not struggling and fighting, but really try to come from center and work calmly. As with an inhale, you're bending your left leg, and with an exhale, maybe taking hold of your belt and wrapping one loose end around your foot, but maybe you don't need a belt and you can grab a hold of your foot with your right hand. And if there's no belt and you cannot reach for your foot, just work with the no touch option where you're bending the knee and the right arm reaches back. And if there's a cramp happening in your hamstrings, just allow the leg to release, but find whatever version works for you. We're inhaling here, and no matter if we touch or not, we're leaning back, finding this spinal extension, this soft back bend. And with an exhale, belt or hand, we're drawing our heel towards our buttocks as we descend with a straight spine forward. Long space between navel or heart and heart. And if you cannot bring your heel deeper, release the leg onto the floor, but see if you can rise between this back bend with an inhale and this straight spine and opening of the front hip with an exhale. Inhaling here, if you're working with no belt, and with an exhale, bending the left knee, letting the heel flow towards the pelvis, and we're breathing here. See if you need more space for your right foot on the floor. If you're not having any belt and you cannot grab your foot, just release the left leg onto the floor as you're bending forward. But wherever you are, find for 2 long deep breaths that you're drawing your heart out of your pelvis forward. And the head is really fully released. Awesome. And then slowly allow to come back up again with an inhale. And with an exhale, straightening the arms, rise back up again. If you had a hold on your foot, allow it to go. Stay calm with the belt, release it calmly and put it somewhere next to your mat so we can have it for the other side. And maybe there's an ah happening as you're releasing the right leg and stepping knee to knee with an exhale. Allow the knees to widen just a little bit. Feel free to pat them up and sink back into this wider leg version of Balasana. And we rise back up, sitting our heels. Maybe you take a bolster or a blanket between your heels and your buttocks. And we're really allowing in this seiza or adopted seiza position that our sternum may lift, that we're finding this nice connection to the floor and this beautiful connection to inner space and breath. Again, feel the groins wide and supported through the earth. You're not sinking and closing the space, but you're trying to lift with Uddiyana Bandha out of your pelvis, opening the groins. The jaw is released. Neck is free. And then slowly navel to spine, we can release that and come forward again with an inhale. And with an exhale, step back one knee and then the other. Allow the hands to walk back. Flex the feet. Inhaling here. And then with an exhale, come into downward dog. Move slightly from the left to the right, bending the knees. The shoulder can be stable. Find that you really enjoy breathing here. 3. Movement may slowly, organically cease. We can drop the heels, stay connected to center. We're lifting the left leg with an inhale. Exhaling, drawing samana energy into our core as we step forward. This is a conscious step forward. And inhale here, lift the heart, and with an exhale, the right knee may descend. If you have your belt close by, feel free to get it and slowly come into belt around your right foot. Maybe if you're having a closed loop with the buckle, it's easier to work with the closed loop. So right hand stays on the mat, left leg or arm, left arm circles back to the right leg. And very calmly bring the loop around your foot. In my experience, there's a lot of stress happening of not doing this in time, so I'm really deliberately that slow. If you have a hold of your foot, just enjoy this back bend, freeing up the neck, finding the ribs and center again in this back bend. Supporting also the iliosacral joint. And we're flowing here again between two positions. So with an inhale, shoulders still in neutral. Rise up into the back bend. Maybe if you haven't the belt and haven't a hold on for your right leg, you want to release it onto the floor in the back bend. And with an exhale, as we go forward, with hand probably on foot, we can bend the right knee and dive forward, or having the left hand free and just bending the right knee. Find what works for you and stay curious if there probably one day will arise the ability to take a hold of your foot. So with an inhale, we're going into the back bends. And with an exhale, we're diving forward or releasing the leg again. And if you have had or are having a hold of your foot, stay forward. Maybe you're releasing the legs as we're going into the psoas opening here. And we're staying here, heart drawing away from the core for 3 long deep breaths. And then slowly, if you've gotten a hold of your foot, allow this pushing of the foot into your hand to draw you up into the back bend. And if you're working freely, maybe bending the leg one more time and rising with an inhale, meeting here. With an exhale, if you have a belt, remove it. And we're meeting with left knee reuniting to the right. And coming into this wide-kneed Balasana. Maybe for now the arms may come further out. And our forehead can rest on the floor. And if the arms are out to the side, maybe you find more movement throughout your shoulders for really draw them from the front and down towards your ears and then back and lift it up so you have this wide space between your collarbones in front and the outside of your shoulders. So we're really freeing up the mediastinum, allowing also the thoracic spine to find a really nice lift and expansion and extension. And this should really feel good and freeing and not a struggle. Awesome. And then allow the arms and elbows to bend. Find your lower belly again, and from this support slowly rise with an inhale, and with an exhale allow the hands and arms to walk forward again, being in front of you. Maybe pushing your palms on the mat slightly forward, and come active center with an inhale onto hands and knees. If you need to adjust, feel free, knees directly under the hips, hands directly under the shoulders. Engaging core and ribs, inhale here, flexing feet. And with an exhale, keeping the feet flexed, see if you can roll over your feet, if your knees allow for that. And come into a squatting position. And if you're in squat and your knees are free to move here, see if you can shift from side to side by pivoting from heel onto outer edge of one foot or whatever is possible for you. So it's really about the fluidity of the movement throughout the hip joints with an integrated lower back, navel to spine. And it should be fun and release the body and not a painful struggle. So if you need some break and you want to come into child's pose, feel free to do that. Yeah. Awesome. Can you still feel the floor? Can you still feel the breath wherever you are? And we're slowly coming back to Malasana or squat. Can again lift our arms, stretching them back to the back with an exhale. Shoulders roll back. We interlace our fingers. And slowly push the backside of your arms towards the ceiling using the feet, especially the outside of your feet, as you come back up to a standing position. Inhale here, really pushing the soles of your feet into the floor, finding neutral pelvis, pushing the backside of your arms towards the ceiling. And then with an exhale, allow the arms to sink and to draw your heart up without hyperextending your lower back. So the pelvis stays really, really stable, the abdominals engaged. And we're finding this super long straight spine coming into the Dasana with wide collarbones and this really nice freed up mediastinum space. Feel if you need to shift on your feet and try to come with all of your attention into the connection to the floor as you're standing. Feel the breath. And then slowly bring your arms in front of you. Open your eyes. See if you can stay connected to the floor, to the offering. Find yourself at your creative center. your hands with the fingertips on your third eye, Anya. Find the connection to the floor. Find this soft connection through your knees so we're not blocking the earth energy ascending as we breathe. Staying really fluid like bamboo, grounded. And with your creative energy in your hara, connected and collected, and your hands, your acting power connected to your vision or anya, your ability to transcend and see deeper. Remind your sankalpa for health. Exhale and bring your hands slowly to your lower belly. And with your hands having informed your creative center, I want you to really focus on your sankalpa. Where should the prana go to in your system for your health? And we're going into Natarasha, the dancer, so we can dance softly, grounded through life, and find this activation of our health from our roots, our dharma, and connected to our own creative center. So when we draw navel to spine, our body knows somebody's at home, so let's move from here. Slowly let your weight be shifted onto your left foot. With an inhale, drawing the right knee up towards the nose. With an exhale, allowing the right bent leg to descend, right knee to the left. And then slowly find this tipping forward, slight tipping forward with navel to spine of your pelvis. Take a hold of your right foot with your right hand. And with an exhale, if the right knee has moved off center line, more lateral, draw it back to the medial line towards your left knee. Lift with an inhale your left arm up. Exhale, maybe you're standing here finding balance. And if you cannot hold your foot, just keep the right leg bent and imagine the connection. But if you have a really nice sense of center, grounding and balance, see if you can put or push your right foot into your right hand and bring into this arching bow more tension. And we're breathing calmly for 3. Awesome, people. 1. Lower belly. Connection to the creative energy. Awesome. 3. Inhale. Find this expansion throughout the collarbone, heart, and mediastinum space. And with an exhale, slowly allow the right leg to descend. And really push your roots into the earth as you have your foot connected to the floor. Arms are sinking. Again, your consciousness dropping several levels below your head into your feet. Arms can swing, very, very relaxed at your sides. Head is free and we're breathing for 1. Sense what's happening in your legs, in your pelvis. 2. Maybe there's a sense of prana that's circulating in your body. 3. And then slowly, let's shift on to the other side. So we're shifting onto our right leg, finding us well centered. And with an inhale, we're slowly going into a hip flexion here, lifting our left bent leg towards our nose. And with an exhale, find again that you're extending the front groin or opening the front groin, bringing the left knee to the right, maybe taking a hold of your left foot with your hand. If you can't, just hold the sense of that you will take a hold one day. We're lifting with an inhale our right arm, and with an exhale, if you haven't bound, Just extend the left knee back, and then maybe one day you find this hold, and maybe you're here, and you can go into this nice hip extension with pushing your right foot into the floor and finding this elevated heart space, breathing deeply as we hold our connection to the floor. 1, 2, super beautiful, everyone. 3, nice core integration. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly allow the pose to dissolve, to be integrated in the body. And as the left foot descends, really feel this pushing of your roots into the floor, and that there may be a movement that ripples throughout your whole body from this grounding and this centering. Arms are really released, free shoulders, free neck. And really allow to sink down into the connection to the ground through your feet, finding this calm as you earth yourself. And breathe. Allow your arms to lift in front. Exhale, you're reuniting your palms in Anjali Mudra. We're slowly walking our feet up, out a little bit. See if it's okay for your knees to go into Malasana. Inhale here, feet parallel or pivoted out with heels together, toes apart. We're coming slowly over a half squat into the full squat. Find this elevation of the heart with an inhale as you use your backside of your upper arms against your inside of the legs. Find this connection to the floor through the soles of your feet. And really allow your forehead to be released into your hands so the head may bow to your heart. And we're breathing, really holding this contact to the earth throughout our feet. As we gather prana and releasing it. Or releasing the old life energy. Focus on our own personal goal for health. And then slowly with an inhale, bring your hands forward. Exhale, slowly allow your fingertips to release onto the floor. Find the neck released, lifting your hips with an inhale. And with an exhale, step back, one knee to the floor. Very stable shoulders. Inhale, other leg can follow. And if you have stayed in child's pose, to not to the squat because of your knees, reunite with us here. And we're coming into a supta position on our back. Feel free, if you're tired already, stay here and rest. And stay connected to your sense of grounding, your connection to the earth, to the floor, and your breath. And if you feel like you would like to be upright and erect, come into a seated position. And feel into your body if it's really comfortable to close your eyes, so that you can still be with yourself and have awareness from the inside out. No matter if you're seated or if you're on the floor, make sure that your hands can be placed in a fashion that you feel comfortable and free. Bend your knees if your lower back is complaining, or have the legs straight if you enjoy this release of your body weight into the floor. And check if it's possible, no matter if you're seated or lying down, to find an inner release where you really can connect with this sense of being carried by the floor. So every inhale can be like a soft embrace, and every exhale can be a reminder of the support and the release of the earth into the earth. And then I would like you to open yourself for a prayer, and you take whatever is needed and leave whatever is not suitable. It's from the book Prayers of Manifestation. And as I said, let yourself be nourished by what nourishes you, and whatever doesn't resonate with you, let it be without taking it in. The prayers are written in a way that we are already thanking for something that is or has been accomplished. And maybe you want to reconnect it to your sankalpa of your life energy and health. And the prayer is called willingness or willing to change.
I thank you that I'm now determined to evoke change, new direction, and new orientation, and therefore willing to accept each and every step towards achieving new goals. I thank you that all fears of the future and unknown, of repeated failure and discontent, of being or feeling overwhelmed, fear that my ego be destroyed, and fear of being lost and helpless are relinquished and give way to joy and completion. I thank you that I am one with my endeavor to grow, to succeed, and to grasp my creative spirit, and to find my ultimate goal in the glory of my godlike nature. I thank you that I'm supported at all times of difficulty, confusion, and sadness that arise through uncertainty and distrust. I thank you that I am led to open new doors where I am free to live the essence of my soul. I am God's enduring quality of strength.
And with this completion of the prayer, sense your own self-love and self-respect exactly as you are right now. With all of your strengths, I like the English word of shortcomings, so with all of your shortcomings. And connect to the floor so you can be present and here right now. Find this self-acceptance, health. And find in this unconditional self-love and this accepting of yourself exactly as you are right now. Strength to change on your path. Remind yourself, embrace your sankalpa. Really, really savor a long, deep inhale. And imagine that you're carrying this energy in every of your cell. Complete your sadhana, opening your eyes very consciously as you stay connected to your breath and to the floor. If you want to, anchor your symbol or a symbol of your choice connected to your sankalpa into your center. And come back to a seated position if you were on the floor, lying down. So really take your time. You can come through center or come over the side. It's really your choice. I want you to stay relaxed. And I'm looking forward to seeing you upright and seated. And thank you so much for practicing. And wish for you to have a really nice, successful week. And whatever you've planned for your weekend in nature, if you have a garden, with your kids, with your partner, with yourself. Be successful in your further steps. Stay in movement and connected and one with nature. Thank you for practicing. Wishing you a really nice evening. And I'm really happy that you've been here today. Many thanks. Namaste.